Yeah, my turned up. Okay, if everybody wants to come in, grab a seat so we can get started. And has everybody bought 50/50 tickets? Oh. Well, there must be a lot of good stuff on the free table this month. Okay.
I did. I do a lot of event photography, and I do a lot of rock photography. And you
Yeah.
get used to actually get on the stage, get behind the
Yeah.
camera, you know.
Yeah.
And you wear black, and you don't.
Don't blend in.
And you don't take.
I know. I used to run.
Take the spotlight away from them.
I used to run sound for Lone Star Beer in Texas.
Oh, good for you. So,
So,
you heard
I've-
a lot of music.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I've seen a lot of bands. I don't know some of the music, but I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get started. Announcements first. If the mentor, the lady who's running the mentor program, asked me to reiterate again that if you have your profile on the website, if you can update it with your address, your zip code, so we can match people up, even if you're don't want to be in the mentor program. Please go out there, put address and zip code in there so we know where you're at. I'm trying to do a demographic thing on where everybody in the guild is located, and I can't do it because there's a lot of us out there that don't have much information on the website. So if you can go out there and update your profile, that'll be great. If you can put all the information you want on there and send it to membership, I'll get it on. Let's see. I made this thing before I knew that Mr. David was going to be here tonight. Our fair stuff is back here in the back. David's here tonight, so. He'll collect his stuff and put everything back there. David, anything you want to say? Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
I know, neither was I.
Call on me
Because you weren't supposed to be here.
quite so soon. Yeah, that obligation got
Yeah.
postponed. So you're stuck with me.
Good.
So thank you all for bringing in the items for the art fair, and I can still accept items for the art fair. It's not like this is it.
Yep.
But we have quite a few things back there, and thank you so much for that. Again, the art fair is August 16th. Pretty much got the morning covered. It kind of fades a little bit in the afternoon, but I think we're in pretty good shape. If we could have a couple more people working a little bit in the afternoon, the noon to 4 area, that would be okay. But I think we're in pretty good shape with volunteers. But of course, always would like to have more help. Yeah, I think that's.
Got a couple questions tonight about pricing. Are you going to price that, or do you want us people bring them to put prices on them?
I would prefer that the people that bring them put prices on them. Now, some items that are similar to what we had last year, that people that gave things last year, I can go off of what we charged last year if they're giving me similar items. So that's not, but I would prefer if you would tell me who brought it in and what you expect the guild to get for it. Would be nice.
All right.
Helpful.
Good.
All right.
All right.
I think that's it. I'm
Good.
sure I'm forgetting something, but this was my time, and there you go.
Back in the back table, next to the art fair table, drinks, ice, cups, help yourself. This was all stuff left over. What we don't drink and use tonight is going to go to the shop, and so we drink there when we go there. And drink it up. Boy, we're tired of moving this stuff around. There was so much stuff back there. There's still so much. We will never need to buy silverware, paper plates, or cups for the next 3 or 4 years of stuff that we have back there. So at least we're getting rid of all of the stuff that will spoil. And I threw a bunch out that was way out of date. Next coming up is the holiday party. They did have a planning meeting, and they had some really good stuff coming up. Anybody from the planning committee want to say anything about the party?
Yeah. We've got a lot of things that we're talking about doing, so no specific details other than what I put in the newsletter. So some people didn't read the newsletter yet, so I'm going to kind of repeat myself, which is we'll have some prizes, but we thought it would be fun, nice, if we had shop-made prizes from members. This was prompted partly by when we have show and tell, we see some of those projects and we're thinking, boy, those are nice. I'd like to have one of those. And so if people want to donate, if members want to donate one or more prizes for the November party, send me an email and give me a brief description or a photo so I have an idea. But I will contact you to get the details of how to get the prize into my possession so that it'll be here in November. And so the intent of the party also is for spouses. We haven't talked about whether or not kids as well, because we're trying to get a sense of size. But we will have a sign-up sheet at some point in the future to kind of gauge that. But as a minimum, we want spouses invited. So think about that as well. I think that's all.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Any
Thanks.
questions?
Yeah, any questions?
Good.
Okay.
Hey, Hal, I have a hard time hearing people on the microphone. Okay. I forgot to put them in. After my ear infections, it just hurts to have things shoved in my ears. Just another reminder, Superstar Weekend is coming up the second weekend of April of next year, and Roland Johnson is going to be the speaker. So that's going to be really good. More details coming. Hats and aprons. We still have hats and aprons. See Bob. Or as I typed here wrong, see Bod. No, Hal corrected it up here. Next, membership. I want to explain how this works. and tell you that if you sign up, pay your membership dues, and this is good for everybody on camera world. If you don't hear from me with a card within 10 days, let me know. I've had 3, I think, in the last month where one person paid in March, never got his card. I never got notified that he paid. What happens is when you pay on the website, it automatically goes into completed on the website, sends me an email with your name, email address, your number for your in the database, which is the number that's on your card. And then I go in and I create the card off of that. What's been happening a few times is they got stuck in pending, and I get nothing. I know nothing until you let me know that, hey, I've paid, and then I can go in and I can search. Because of the master database that you sign into, the login is lost, and it was lost with the last guy that took care of it. I can't remember his name. But we can't get in it. It still works, and it still downloads everything into what we can see. But the master one we can't get into, so I can't query for pendings. So if you don't hear from me within 10 days, a week, 7 to 10 days, you don't hear from me, send me an email, call me, leave me a voicemail, so I can go out and look. I can go out and see if you're in pending or not, and I can change all of that, and we can get that going. I just don't like seeing people that's out there with, how do I get my card? Where's my card? And it's like, I go through this about every 3 days and send cards out. So if you don't hear from me, just let me know. Send me an email. Send me a voicemail. So it's a little complicated on if it goes into pending. So I just don't want to see that happening. All right. Change it here, but it don't change there. Do we have any new members or visitors? I didn't think anybody joined tonight or brought a visitor in from when me sitting at the desk. So that's pretty good. Okay. Upcoming classes. We've got the safety class coming 8/7. The next one is going to be. Why is that in here twice? I got the safety class in here twice, but it's coming up 8/7. Yeah, I think should be 9. We got the fundamentals of woodworking starting coming up on July 13th and July 27th. And then we have an introductory wood carving coming up on August 2nd, 9 to 3. And then the next safety class. Safety classes are always the first Thursday of the month from 6:30 to 9. So you could tell my wife didn't proofread my chart this month. Community outreach on our hospital toys. Bob, how many toys we get tonight?
Well, tonight we got 137 toys.
Wow. Oh, a lot better than last month.
Yeah, but the good news is this month we added 3 new organizations that
Ooh.
receive toys.
Oh, who are they?
They are Mercy North at Ballast Road, and that is the pediatrics department. We added the Crisis Nursery, and I believe it's Wentzville. Is that
Ooh.
right? Bob Castigar found that and donated 15 toys, and 30 toys went to the peds department at Mercy. And I just was told tonight by Bob Danner, who volunteers at the USO, that they gave out 20 toys there, and we're going to start giving out toys at the USO. The big news is, since 1994, we have now donated over 90,000 toys.
Oh, wow. And it sounds like picking up more like there. We're going to need more people making toys. All right, Tom. Home sweet home.
Okay, home sweet home. We're doing pretty well. People that have taken wood, I hear it's going to rain the next 5 days. It's too hot for you guys to golf or to be out doing yard work. And I know you don't do housework, so get in your shop, start making some sawdust. We'll take any tables that you can produce. We've got wood in the shed. If you need wood, go on the website, find my name and phone number somewhere on there for under the Woodworkers Guild, and give me a call. I'll meet you up at the shed and get some wood to you. So I appreciate everybody's efforts. I forget the number where we are exactly, but I think it's over 30. Hal Donovan brought in number
73.
That's 73 of that style, and he's 83 overall. So he does a good job.
Thanks, Hal.
If you're interested, take a look at that table. That's kind of our go-to table. We have some more wood now than we've had in the past, so we're building some stuff with drawers in them, nightstands with drawers. We're doing a little bit. You can use your imagination on this stuff. Just keep it relatively small. But, whatever you want to do, just get out there and do it. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? We've got a lot of information on our website. So go to the website under Community Service or Community Outreach and get all the information you need. Another thing is, it's November 8th. It's a little bit far away, but we're going to have Home Sweet Home's going to host us at their facility in Maplewood, and we'll be there from 9:30 till probably 11:30 or so. It's an opportunity for you guys to get into their facility, see their, the front office, and see everything all the great work they do just every day. So keep that in mind, and of course we'll have more information coming up. Thanks, Brian.
All right. I just put that on my calendar. All right. Then next up is Christmas toy program. First and third Friday of each month, which means tomorrow. Wayne's going to be there from 10 to 2. Anything you want to say that we don't already know?
The comment was made by Bob that we need toys, and the Christmas program needs toys. We've had several days when we were doing St. Louis County summer camp projects and stuff like that. And, we did 1,500 roughly last year, and we're going to come up short this year. So if you're not building tables for Tom, build some toys. There's lots of plans out there, or make them up and do whatever. But we could use some toys brought in from the outside, not just rely on Friday.
All right. Next up, question time, answer time. So I'm going to start this month. I have a Jet 12 by 36 drum sander. Every time I got to replace the sandpaper on that thing is a pain in the neck. Well, and we got one at the shop that's got 2 drums. And that's probably really bad to replace. So I had to replace it today because it was really dirty and it wasn't sanding anything. I'm sitting in there and the roll keeps rolling. So I'm sitting in there, you got to pull this thing over, shove the paper in it and get it tight. And sitting there going, how in the world am I going to keep this thing from rolling around so I can get this paper in there? Duh. Lower the freaking thing to where the drum hits the bottom. It doesn't go in. You can squeeze it, put the paper right in there, crank it up, roll it up, get to the other end, roll it back down, clamp it right in. And I went, I think I'll share that. It's like, why don't they put that in the instructions? Okay, anybody else got anything that they want to bring up about woodworking?
I got two questions.
Okay.
And the second one's got two parts. But the first one is this piece of wood. I have 6 boards. Well, used to have 6. Now I've got lots of little pieces like this. And they're going to be even smaller. But the real question is, what kind of wood is this? I've got an idea, I guess. But I'm happy to hand it around to people to look at while I ask my second question. And I'd appreciate, because when I'm making these for my puzzles, and when I sell them, I want to be able to tell them what the wood is. And I want to be accurate if I can. So I don't remember where I got it. That's the problem. I got 6 boards. Somebody, I'll give you one. Somebody had it, and it was, to my memory, it was like $10 a board. And I was like, this is nice looking stuff. I'm buying it. I'm sure I'll find a use for it. So I am not late and I am making it. No. I brought a cutoff last week or last month, and he didn't know what it was.
You didn't know what it was either?
It didn't look like this. It was a cross cut. It wasn't very big. There wasn't a lot to work with. But yes, I understand what you're asking. Anyways, my next question, 2 parts. I know that you can spray the top of a table saw and kind of get it cleaned and gives you, and actually reduces the friction. You know, have any of you ever actually sprayed your saw blades, like with a dry lubricant? What's that? You do. I thought that was normal. I asked another group, and they said, I don't know about that, you know. And but here's my real question now. Have you ever sprayed your bandsaw blade? Yeah. Okay. And what do you use? Same thing? Yeah. It's a dry lubricant, you know. Do you like put something behind it as you spray it to just kind of contain it, and then you just kind of roll it? You don't run it or anything, yeah. But yeah. Okay, but you're just kind of slowly, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, I agree. If you're cutting metal, yeah. I'm supposed to be handing the mic to you guys when you talk, and so, but yeah, he was talking about window cleaner, so that's interesting. Any other hands on that? Well, and that doesn't cause the wood to gum up or anything like that, yeah. Ivory or coast or no? Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate cheap bar soap. Okay, somebody got a can of Pam. I remember reading an article that talked about cooking oil, and I thought, really? Okay, so Pam, all right. Boeing, the company? Well, I don't know. But that'd cost several $100s if it was from Boeing, you know. I used to work there. I know how that works, you know. Okay, any thoughts on the wood? You're still looking. I'm willing to wait on that while I hand this to another question. Okay, yeah, does anybody else have another, yeah, somebody got a question? You got a question? Yeah. Okay.
Is anybody familiar with wood flour? Anybody, let's see the hands of anybody that uses wood flour. Anybody? Have you?
In epoxy work, use wood flour as a filler on
Yeah.
epoxy, but not for anything else.
I bought a kit, a kayak kit, and in it was a bag of wood flour.
That's what it's for
Uh,
that fillet.
Never
Are
heard
you
of it.
saying wood flour?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's fine as cake flour. And I use it as instead of plastic wood.
Yeah,
I mix.
have somebody that's familiar with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Right.
African tea.
Yeah, I built a Chesapeake Lightcraft, and part of the kit that comes there is a wood flour. You mix it with epoxy. After you've wired the joints together, the big sheets of plywood, you wire them together, and then you mix up this epoxy and wood flour and seal the joints on the inside. And that's what it's for.
So peanut butter consistency. Yeah, more or less.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of that.
Is this more on the subject? Okay.
Yeah, I built a 20-foot kayak, and West Boat, I think it's the people who make the epoxy. There are a lot of companies, but they build it, make it specifically for boats. They sell 4 different additives like that wood flour. Some of it is, well, they're all different kinds of materials, but they have different purposes based on what you're using it for. Some of them are reinforcement, some of them are for strengthening, and the like.
That's fine. I think we're done with that subject. All right.
So I have a antique rocking chair that could be 150 years old. Am I needing to be up louder? Because I can talk louder. All right. I just was curious. I don't know whether it was glue that was made with horse hooves or what in there, but all the joints are loose. And if you've ever done anything like that on a rocking chair with a curved runner and everything's curved, and do you disassemble the whole thing? And then this is really irritating to me, but anyway, do you disassemble the whole thing, or do you just do individual joints that might be loose now and wait for a few years for something else to get loose? Any recommendations?
I have disassembled the whole chair. And it all depends on something that old is probably hide glue, and usually separate it with a heat gun. That I would put the heat gun on it, get it good and hot, and it'll work it out. If it's newer than that, I got like diabetic syringes that I drill small holes in and inject it with vinegar. And the vinegar will loosen up the glue, and I'll strip the whole chair. I'll strip the whole chair down, and I use an old-time battery post cleaner. You know, it's got the posts this way and the brush that comes out that way. I use those to clean all of the joints, get them good and clean. It takes off all of the old glue and all of the other crap on it, and lets you re-glue it again without with sanding it and changing the size of it. That's what I do.
You good? Okay.
What's that? Yes. Yes. I use vinegar. Will clean. If I'm making like a tabletop or whatever, and I get all that ooze out, I'll wash the whole top down with white vinegar, and it just cleans that stuff right out, and it just. You know, the guy who's teaching the class, who's going to be at our Superstar Weekend, I took a class from him years ago at Collinsville, and that's where I learned about white vinegar. Roland Johnson.
Where's the other board? There's one here. Oh yeah, we're going to keep it. A couple people have asked for it.
All right. Any other questions or answers or head scratchers?
All right, I've heard Brazilian cherry. I've heard African teak. I've heard rosewood. It's not teak. Oh, someone doesn't think it's teak. Why is that? You don't see any silicon in it. Not shiny. Okay, so no, that's what we've got. Well, I've got one long one that's about this wide. It's cut off. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. For density, okay. I am on the page of what I think. There's somebody suggested, and I went to a online database, saw a picture, and I looked at my piece and I said, "Boy, that looks like the same piece of wood." But I also know it's tricky to do that. The picture I was looking at was Babinga. What's that?
Back in.
I don't know. Yeah.
Back in the back on the red
because
shirt.
it's not oily. Yeah, they're suggesting Paduke. I worked with Paducah ages ago, and yeah, and I'm not surprised, you know. Okay. I appreciate you guys looking at it all.
Yep.
Um,
So Joe,
I'll
what
just
you
say
can-
I'm just going to say it's an exotic wood.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey Joe, what you
red
can-
colored exotic wood.
What you
No,
can do is
uh,
tape all of these to a dartboard and throw a dart, and that's the one you call it.
that's an option. Yes. Ultimately, most guys will just enjoy their puzzle and not worry about the wood. But I do know, I was told early on when I sold it that somebody asked, hey, did you make it in such and such? And I said, no. He said, well, I really like my puzzles in exotic woods. I was like, okay, you know. But he was the only one that ever asked. All right, well, I appreciate you guys looking. Any other questions for the group? Otherwise, I guess.
Yep.
we're done.
Otherwise, if you have pieces in show and tell, come on up and get mic'd up. Say that again. Yep, that's during the presentation time.
While these guys are getting ready, we have more pencils, just so you guys know.
Use, John, use the microphone.
Number one, just clip it on wherever you
Oh,
like.
it is. Hey, turn the microphone on.
Mike's on.
Oh. We got pencils up here from U-Pick.
You can get them anytime you want.
Yep, and a good sharpener gets them sharp. All right, it is show and tell time.
Alrighty, I'm back. Miss me? Anyhow, this piece was a piece of wormy plum, and on the top is a banksia pod with epoxy. This is a piece of mesquite I cut down in Texas 2 years ago, and I just made that last week. And the green is actually a method I do of simulating turquoise. And the third piece is camphor. Remember the meeting last? Well, this is a piece of curly camphor, and you can still smell it really strong in there. And the coloring on the top is dyed baking soda and super glue. And that's how I think next year we're planning on doing a demo on how to do that stuff. And I'm actually going to send this one around so they can see it.
Oh, wow.
And that'll be it.
That's interesting.
Any questions? Okay. Yeah.
You have a video showing all that stuff?
Yeah, soon. I just did a demo last week on doing that.
Am I turned on? No, I'm not. Microphone.
There we go.
Microphone. Am I on?
Yep.
Good. All right. I didn't make this. It's a nice Korean import, or who knows where. This is an air duster to replace canned air, for like cleaning your keyboard. But it's very nice for when you don't want to turn on your compressor to blow off dust and such. It works well. This one costs $30 on Amazon. They have them up to 60. They have them, almost like a leaf blower. But it's got multiple stages. So they work pretty well. It comes with all kinds of attachments, close up for cleaning out, and real pointy. Just when you don't want to pull out your compressor or you don't have a compressor, it's easy to clean your parts. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're welcome to come up here and play with it later on. Well,
There you go.
Okay, so I've been making a lot of tables over the last several months and had pieces left over from tapering the legs, the little wedge pieces. And I've been tossing them into a can, so I decided to use some of them in making a cutting board. So these are walnut and white oak and finished with walrus oil, the cutting board oil from, not sure if they're still a sponsor of ours or not. They were a sponsor at one time. But anyway, I'm going to turn this over to the Faust Park Art Fair.
All right.
Alan Brown here. I was making this table. I found the walnut here, and I have a drill press, but the drill press only has a 4-inch depth from the corner to the hole, okay? And I was trying to figure out how to angle the leg both ways so that it came out, towards the corner versus, just straight out and straight down. So, and I have a very small drill press. So what I did, and I had a trouble trying to figure out how to support it so that it would stay in place while I was drilling it. So I cut 5-degree angles here, and I cut them long enough and put them in my table saw. I'm on my drill press like this, okay, and screwed them down to the support table I have, okay. Then I could put this on, clamp it in the back and in the front, and it angled the legs perfectly, okay. So in case you need to do something like that, that's a quick, easy way to do it.
All right. Is that it? All right. Next up, raffle time.
All right. So this is what we've got. We've got our 2 gift cards, one from Woodcraft, one from Rockler, each for $50. We have from You Pick wood, and this wood, I think I know what it is, but I'll check. Or I can hand it around and have you guys tell me. Mahogany and maple, so you get them both. That's why they're packaged together. And then we have these. We mentioned closet cleaning. So these are coffee mugs with our logo on them. There's 3 of them. You get 1. This was donated tonight by one of our members, Eric Morris. He calls it a Japanese toolbox. And the way you open it is slide that key out there, push it like that, and you lift it up, and there's the box inside. Still got the aroma giving off here. I can smell it. But very nice. So perfect example. We were talking about whether or not we should keep this for November, but we decided. I told him. I said, "You got time. You can make some more." And so anyways, I think I'm putting that key in wrong, Eric. You'll have to show up later here and fix it. There we go. Okay. So, and then I see we have this table here from Hal. Just kidding. Okay. Anyways, someone who didn't buy a ticket tonight. All right. I tried to mix it up as best I could, and as a reminder, 1 winner or 1 prize per winner. So I'll read this the first time. The first 3 digits are 410. Last 3, 352.
Here we go.
352. We have a winner. And there was a complaint earlier about he wins too often, but and he said, "Hey, only every 3 times or every 3rd time." So, what would you like?
I guess I'll take the wood.
Okay, you take the wood, and you'll pick it up later. All right. This one? All right, thank you. Last 3 digits. 361.
There we go.
Yeah, we found it. All right. A gift card? All right. From which company? Okay, and I need you to draw. Number 312. We have a winner. All right. Up. 312.
Which gift cards?
Right there. All right. Gift cards are gone. Thank you. 334.
There we go.
We've got the toolbox or a coffee mug.
I will take the toolbox.
All right.
And I will donate it to the Arts Fair.
All right.
This is pretty cool.
All right. You need to draw. It is very nice. All right. Thank you.
This one.
All right. 283. Thank you. This one. 306. You're done. Oop. Box is falling apart on you. All right.
Oops. I didn't see the number.
Didn't look. And the last prize, 380. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I trust you. All right.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Okay. First up for Christmas in July is Hal Donovan. He's got a PowerPoint for us.
Okay, how you doing, everybody? I'm sitting on the side where I always hang out, so you cannot see me, but I'm going to. Anybody? Oh, which one? I'm two, right? Okay. All right. So these are a number of things that I've built for Christmas presents in the past, and I'm putting down below here kind of where I got the idea from. They're almost all from YouTube. This one is it's a snowflake, obviously, and you can put it together just about any way you want to, as far as painting it and things like that. The thing that attracted me to it was the guy in the video said that once you had the pieces cut, you could put it together in 1 minute, and he actually does it on his website. Where did Scott go? If I need to advance this, just do the arrow. Okay, this is a template that he had you make, so that you take all the pieces. There's like 3 different pieces. You cut them, you put them in this little cardboard template that you make after you made your first one, and they go together real quick. You make 3 pieces, and it ends up looking like this. So I took you use a cedar fence post, and you can get 3 of these out of 1 post. So it's dirt cheap. I had a little bit of problem with the center diamonds holding them in. They kept popping off with the glue. I tried hot glue, I tried brads, I tried all kinds of stuff, but it was only the center ones that really gave me a problem. Okay, so that's Matthew Peach on YouTube. Okay, these two, I saw a place called Crafty Shed, and the trick was matching my biggest hole saw to the ornaments, and had to find some smaller and smaller ornaments. But they had these two designs, one that had an ornament in the middle and one had two with one hanging out the side, which worked out really well. And there's, and the one has a little candle holder, and so I put some battery operated lights in it. And they go together pretty well. I mean, you can stain them, you can paint them white, you can do a little, put a little smeary snow on it, like, I don't know if that shows it on the one on the left, on that one. And then just kind of get the ornament in there big, close enough so that it kind of hangs freely. Okay, so this one, I couldn't find the source on this one, but actually the body of it is two pieces of wood that just kind of lock into or slide into each other with a star on the top, and then you could stain it or whatever and knock those out pretty quick. This is another one, was pretty straightforward. You can stain it all with, you know, brown or paint it white or do alternate red and green like I did there. And you know, you can, I think I made, I don't know, half a dozen or so of those. I was big on giving out trivets for Christmas presents, and that was the first time I used hardwood. And when they didn't fit quite right, I started hammering them hard, and they split pretty fast. So I had to refine the dado blade on my table saw to get it right. And then just put them together in a couple variations of different kinds of wood. If you can make a picture frame, you can probably make this. These are tiles we got at a local tile store. I just bought, had to order a couple of them and made 15 or 20 of these and out of some cherry that I got at U-Pick, and put a board in the bottom to kind of raise it up so that your hot pot is sitting on the tile and not on the cherry. But that was pretty easy. The charcuterie board, which if you can get the handle, you can make it as long or short or whatever shape you want. And once you've got one, put it on your router table with a patterning bit, and you can knock them out pretty darn quick. And then there's this. So, which I did make. I mean, it's a Christmas movie, so I stuck this one in there. And I've made 3 of those. I've got that one in my basement, and my son has one, and my niece has the other one. And somebody asked me how I made that leg. Well, I made the only woodworking in there is in the base. It's just a piece that I cut a circle on a router table, and it's strong, heavy enough so that it kind of held the whole thing up. But I went to a store that sells store fixtures for stockings and things like that, and so I bought that leg. And it had lead shot in the bottom and that expanding foam in the rest of it, and so it would stand up on its own. And I had to drill it out so I could run the wire, and cut a hole in the bottom and then fastened it to the mounting board, and then just put a top on it and a 3-way switch, and there you've got Christmas Story leg lamp. The shoe is actually made out of clay. I took that leg to several shoe stores and pulled it out of a bag, and they looked at me like if they'd seen the movie, they were, yep, I know exactly what you're doing, and if you didn't, they think you were crazy. So we went to 2 or 3 stores before we realized you couldn't get a shoe that was actually at that angle, so I had to make it out of clay. So that's it. Who?
Am I on? Okay, because I don't hear me. Okay, Bob, drunk cutting board? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yes. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay, very good. Okay, I'm from a family of 8. My wife is from a family of 7. So we have lots of siblings, in-laws, nieces, nephews, great nieces and nephews. It seems like when I make things, I make a batch because, well, you have to. If you make one for one sister, you got to make it for all the sisters. It's just how it works. So for me, it's not just a holiday thing in July. It's all the time. I make things in batches. Recently, well, A year ago, I brought in what they called a drunken cutting board. It's basically done with 2 boards. He's nodding, he knows, he did some. Basically, it's a fun project to do. It takes a lot of glue ups, but it comes out real pretty. And I found that they work real nice, particularly with maple and any contrasting type woods. Some people I've seen put a contrasting wood in the groove, which splits that gap half. Works pretty nice. This was actually cut by taking a solid maple board and a solid cherry board, and I double face tape them together, one on top of the other. And this cut, I do these 3 cuts first, and these are done on my old Craftsman tilt head bandsaw with a 3/4 inch blade, 4 teeth per inch. And that sounds really coarse, but you want that coarse blade. You're not gonna be making any sharp curves here. You take them apart and you switch every other one, glue them together. Then you stack them back up so that they're right on top of each other, and you do the other cuts. And then you take those and you switch every other one and glue them together again. So there's a lot of glue ups going on here. The thing that surprised me about this was when I saw it, they said you could do it with a bandsaw, and I said that joint is going to look like dirt. That is just not going to come together. But if you look at these, you're going to see that they really do work pretty well. This makes for a fairly quick charcuterie or cutting board. My sisters decided, and I thought it was brilliant, that they cut on this side and they serve on this side. Okay. So I have had one of these come back from my sister who cut on it too much, and I basically did the palm sander, a new coat of salad bowl finish or bowl oil or whatever, walrus oil, whatever you want to call it. It's basically mineral spirits with carnauba and beeswax. And when it dries, it's perfectly edible. Just same thing you'd put on any other cutting board. So this is a good one. It works pretty quick. I did a batch of 12 about 3 months ago for a group of friends, and I want to say it took me about 18 to 20 hours for 12. So per person, that doesn't come out to be too bad for a project.
Hey, Bob, when you glue the board up, you know, you've got 3 cuts, so 4 pieces. Do you have to worry about it bowing up on you? How do you keep it flat? Just
No, I basically glue these up. I line them up, glue them up, flip them down on a piece of wax paper. I glue on wax paper whenever I do my projects. Basically, I lay them down on the wax paper. I clamp the ends so it's snug and just leave it sit there on the bench. That wax paper will peel right off. And when you run them through the planer, they come out fairly clean. I haven't had a problem. They're thick enough that I haven't had the problem where you get that racking you get when you do something really thin.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay.
The second one was, I can't remember the gentleman's name, Rich, the guy who always does all the scroll saw stuff. Sanders? Is that, okay. Rich Sanders gave me this pattern a number of years ago. Basically, it's a fun little toy to make for small children. We have a lot of great nieces and nephews expected, so I'm actually going to start a batch of these in the next coming weeks. This is looks a little crude. It's cherry maple with romaine dowels. This was my prototype one for any kind of a project like this. I always make one to see, is this even a feasible toy? Is it any good? If it turns out to be a good one, I have this bad habit of making drawings of the parts. And of course, you make the template, because once you make one of something, to lay it out is a drag. If you make this template took me about the time it would take to make one end, but now I can make a dozen of them and lay them out really quick. Okay, so I keep all my plans like this because you never know when 2 years from now your wife gave away all these and she says, hey, we're having more grandnephews, we need some more of these babies. So just something I do. This one's really easy to make though. Rich Sanders had it. It was basically a 3-inch circle, a little bit of routing action, drill a hole, a little routing action going on there. And it makes a fun noise when it rolls along so that the kids can play with it on the floor. So, anyway, just a fun little toy. Again, it doesn't have to be for Christmas, but it could be for any holiday of the year when you get a bunch of kids laying around. About 2 years ago, somebody donated to me a whole bunch of wood from somebody's grandfather's shop who had died, and they didn't know what to do with all this lumber, so here, Bob, you have it. Okay, so I took this lumber and I tried to put it in with all the lumber I have in my basement already. I know you guys don't keep a bunch of lumber in your basements like I do. And I went, this ain't gonna fit. I gotta come up with a project to use up some of this lumber. And a lot of it was maple, cherry, walnut, which are my 3 favorite woods to work with, to be honest with you. And so I decided that we were gonna make boxes. My wife suggested the box idea. So we basically laid out the edges, did a simple miter cut. I had made a spline jig a couple of years ago, perfect to use again because you already got it. That's half the fun of making one the first time. I basically routed the bottoms to fit in. I put them in with 2 screws and then made a matching lid. Now these weren't meant to demonstrate my woodworking skills because, to be honest with you, this is a fairly crude project. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law were helping me with these, and they had a great time. So the idea was, let's just mix it up. We'll make sides out of all the woods, we'll make tops out of all the woods, we'll make handles out of all the woods, we'll make splines that just mix it up. So we made about 24, 26 of these babies and gave them to all the girls in the family, all the ladies. And to quote my wife, if you make a box for somebody, they will find something to put in it. So we made a whole bunch of these, and the really cool thing, and as a woodworker, you guys might be able to relate to this. If you go to your sister-in-law's house and you see the box sitting on a shelf somewhere with something in it, it just does your heart good to know that it's still hanging around, that it was a project that they liked. So I would recommend these to anybody, any size, any shape, any routing. Nice project, people love them.
Show us the other one.
That's not mine.
Oh.
I didn't make that one.
I thought that was
That's a nice one. Okay, and the last one I had was I have, again, a lot of nieces and nephews, a lot of new apartments, new houses. These kids are at that age where they're starting out on their own. And one of them said, Uncle Bob, I got these special coffee mugs that somebody made when I was in college in a pottery class. I think they're the coolest, and I want to hang them on the wall, but I need a way to put them on the wall. So I thought about it a while. She says, well, I was in a store, and they had something called a corbel that they sell that they mount on the walls. And can you make these? I don't know if I know what you're talking about. So she sent me a picture, okay? This was the picture. Okay, so I said, sure, we can make anything, right? So I actually designed my own. Once again, I drew with pencils. I made it in such a way that all of the parts are made from standard off-the-shelf hardware store 2x4s, stock that you can basically, I had a bunch of scrap in the basement, so I didn't even go buy any, I just used them up. And basically I made a set of corbels. Now these are meant to be mounted on the wall. To mount them on the wall, I found these wonderful little, I call them keyhole hooks. I'm not sure what's the name for those?
Yeah, I think that's what they're called.
Keyhole, okay.
Yeah.
Basically, you drill an 1.25 inch Forstner bit, a deeper 3/4 one in the middle, mount these with 2 screws, and you can then just hang it right on the wall on a screw that's hanging out of the wall. They work real nice that way. If you looked at them real close, you can see that there's actually 4 2x4s that I glued together, but I glued them good enough that you almost can't tell. And the trick on this is, rather than try to cut this out with the bandsaw and then sand in these little corners and stuff, they're actually not sanded, they're planed, and then glued together in sections in such a way that you don't have to sand all those weird little inner surfaces. So it makes for a nice little simple project. I made 2 for the niece who asked for them. And within about 2 months, they wanted like 8 more for the other nieces, including one who wanted 2 made like this and then a 2x6 shelf to go across the top so you can hang it kind of like a small mantle in your house. So this is a fairly easy one. These were finished with a can of Krylon white gloss paint that I had laying around. And I thought they turned out kind of sharp. Now, the fact that they're made from 2x4s, I didn't feel bad about painting them. But I am that guy who has told my relatives that if they paint that cherry piece I made for them, or that walnut piece, that I will come back from the dead and haunt them. So anyway, but this is just basically straight up pine. Again, they're made in 3 pieces glued together, then the top made in a few brad nails, a little glue, you're good to go. They actually come out pretty nice. So just a thought for not a holiday gift, but something people might find interesting. Something I figured nobody else would bring tonight.
That's sure a lot easier than the ones that I do.
Yeah.
The ones that I do are four layers thick,
We'll see, take a
thick
look.
ways.
You can see how I did.
This is nice, and nice and heavy too.
Okay. And once again, after I made 8, I made a drawing for it, just because it organizes me. Now, what do I do with all these silly drawings? I actually have a set of binders in my shop where I have the projects I'm working on now, the ones I've done, the ones I'm thinking about doing. And you'd be amazed how often I go back to the ones I've already done just to figure out how to redo them.
Yeah.
So I'm not really an organized person, but in this respect I am.
You have PDFs of all of them?
I am so far, I'm a computer guy, a programmer, okay? I do not do computers for my woodworking. I literally do them on pencil, on graph paper.
I meant to share them.
Oh, to share. We can talk, Leo. Okay, and that's it for me.
All right. Thank you. All right, coming up next is Dan Sudkamp. And I guess this is the very good jewelry box.
I am in the same situation. I have lots of siblings, lots of nieces and nephews, and now a lot of grandnieces and nephews, and that's what these are for my grandnieces, which I have 11. So I'm in the process of making 11 of these right now, but this is just from a 3-inch by 1/2 inch by 24-inch board, mitered, splines, and bevels on it. And then a groove to the lid, you can literally just fits in there and just be fine. And I made different handles. This is Paduke and some bird's eye maple I had on it. But my grandnieces are, little to, some are 12 now. So this is my ideas for preteens, and so forth. Their first jewelry box. So actually, I made a little tray go inside out of 1/8 inch Baltic birch on it, and felt on the bottom of everything in it, so they can do it. But I got a 1/8 inch flat tooth blade from my table saw, and it works perfectly to make. I got these all half lapped in here to make just a perfect width to make all the little half laps on it without any adjustments to whatsoever. So I just gang them up, all these little pieces, and run them all one time, 4 or 5 at a time, so it doesn't take too long. But yeah, I'm right now in the process to make 11. But my process typically is I try to whatever the lid is, I make the splines with, and then whatever the handle is the same as the box themselves. But I've got different shapes. This is supposed to look like a leather strap, and I use walnut 1/4 inch walnut dowel, and I got an old sanding belt that's burns the end of it, basically blackens it, so I take advantage of that, round off the edge and make them glue them in so that kind of holds it together. So, but yeah, they're very, very simple to make on it, and I try to put the
type of wood on the
Is
bottom
that
of it.
laser burnt?
No,
No.
that's just a wood burn.
Oh, it's a wood burned?
On the bottom there, but I did put the type of maple on, but I agree with Bob, if they ever painted those, I would
Yeah.
stroke. But I got all kind of different colors of woods and stuff, but that, again, just a simple one. And if you're making all in the same size, every one I'm making, these are all identical, because every side I make is all the same on it. So you start, you make one, you can make a bunch of them at the same time. So, thanks.
Thanks. All right, next up, we got Joe Turner. He got a puzzle. You want that?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay. So I actually made these for the art fair, but they'd be an excellent Christmas puzzle if you wanted it. I put mine in a box with a label on it because that's me. But what it is this was all scrap wood except for the pegs. There's 9 pegs. Let's see if I can get this out. What you've got is 6 pieces. This is made out of, I'm told, rosewood, African teak, babinga. And this was my scrap from my actual boards that I'm using. And there's 6 of them, and they've got different hole patterns. And you lay them crossed like that. And then the goal is to align the holes between the 2 layers so that you can put all 9 pins in. And what was interesting, so I'm on a phone call every other week with some other puzzle guys. And one of the guys was talking about a book he had written of puzzles. I said, really? I said, what is it? Because I want puzzle books. And he shows me a picture. And I said, wait a minute, I already got that book. I'd bought it years ago, long before I'd ever met him. So anyways, out of his book, I paged through it and I saw this and I thought, this isn't too hard to make. And in there he says that there's only one solution to this if you ignore mirror image type stuff. And he says, I think there's about 4,000 solutions or ways to put them in. I said, 4,000 doesn't sound right. So I'm not sure. I meant to ask my brother to do the math for me. He's more of a mathy guy than I am. And but if I did the math right, there's 368,000 possible ways to put the pieces in here of only one solution. So anyways, I do provide the solution in the box. The base is made out of oak scrap. Side is walnut scrap, like I said, and then just for the pegs I bought. But I made several for the art fair. They're drying right now, so I didn't bring them tonight. But and then I've made a couple. I want to keep one, and then I put my stamp on on the bottom. So anyways, that's it.
All right. Next up, Keith Lassant. He's got a tractor.
Now, I'll start this one off. I don't ordinarily paint my stuff either, but my wife said this is for a 3-year-old, and so it should be painted to look like a John Deere tractor. So, keep the wife happy and so forth. I received a pattern for this on an email a week ago or so.
Yep.
I suspect several people did, but I looked at it and I said that would be an easy toy for a 3-year-old to have. So I went down in my shop and I got scrap pieces. The main body is oak. I think the spacers back here to space are oak. I had wheels of these for the steering wheel, and I didn't have anything big enough for the rear wheels. So I had to take the pattern, stick it on a couple pieces of rosewood, and cut it with a scroll saw just outside the line, and then sand it down to the line so that I got a good round flat wheel. And then I had to paint it all.
How painful to take that rosewood.
It was. and the oak. You know, but
Oh, it rolls real well.
Yeah.
and I
that's
turned
why.
the pattern in to the toy people so that they could make more. It's an easy thing. It could be a 2x4
Yep.
project. The rear wheels would be a problem. We may have some out
What I did with the ones that I'm making is I turned them on my lathe and then cut them down, because it's like, you know, trying to get them round.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I sanded them round with it.
Yeah. All right, that is it. We are done. So make up from being over last month. This month we're under time. So don't forget, there's free water and Diet Coke in the back, and take what you want. Looks like there's still some more stuff on the free table. Okay, you should not get any more.
I haven't got a card, though.
What's that?
I don't have a card.
I just sent it to you. You should be getting it in your email.